Hey there, Mama Work It Tribe. I'm Marissa Lonick, working mom of 4, lover of all things flow, family, and fulfillment. You're tuning in to the Mama Work It podcast, where we take aim at overwhelm, mom guilt, and exhaustion and swap them out for big dreams, belly laughs, and productivity that actually fits into your life. Every week, we dive into tips, motivation, and a healthy dose of fun so you can slay your day even when you're busy AF. Ready to feel seen, energized, and totally unstoppable? Let's get to work, mama. Hey, mamas. Welcome back to another amazing episode of the Mama Work It podcast. So glad you're here as always. My name is Marissa Lonick. I am your host, founder of Mama Work It, and working mom of 4 kiddos. I am fangirling today, you guys. I'm so excited. One of my favorite authors is on our show today. Her name is Karen Salmansohn. She's a best-selling author, a leading behavioral change expert, celebrated for blending research-based psychological strategies with bold humor. With over 2 million books and courses sold, she has helped countless individuals shake off autopilot and start living with intention. She's the founder of the personal development site notsalmon.com, home to 1.5 million loyal followers, and she's appeared on Oprah and Psychology Today. Karen's distinctive style merges psychology, philosophy, neuroscience, and award-winning design. Her early career in advertising, including coining the name Croissant Witch for Burger King, remember that? Shaped her knack for creating content that's both compelling and transformative. Her past bestsellers, such as How to Be Happy, Damn It, and Think Happy, show her talent for delivering practical insights wrapped in wit and real-world relatability. Through her writing, speaking, and online presence, Karen offers an energizing call to action: stop sleepwalking through life and start making meaningful choices. Whether she's discussing happiness habits or identity-based change, her focus remains the same: empowering people to lead more purposeful lives. Karen, I cannot wait for this conversation. Thank you so much for being here.
Oh, thank you for inviting me. I love everything you're doing, and I'm excited to be here.
Great. Awesome. Well, as you probably guessed and know, most of our audience, our listeners, are moms, parents. So I'd love to get started. Can you tell us a little bit more about your journey as a mom alongside your incredible success as an author and behavioral change expert?
Oh, well, okay. Actually, I tell a story about becoming a mom in my new book, so I can kind of tell that a little bit here, which is that I started off in advertising, and then I quit to become an author, and I was writing books, and I was loving what I was doing, but I was very much in what I call beast mode, like very much focused on work and career. And then, sadly, my dad died, and that kind of woke me up to a lot of things. I say death is an excellent alarm clock. And one of the things it woke me up to was that I kept saying, oh, I'll have a family someday. Someday I'll have a kid. Someday, and I kept putting it off. And when he passed, I was obviously sad for so many reasons. But one of the reasons was I thought, oh, my dad is never going to get to see me as a mom. He's never going to get to meet any kids I have. And that put a little fire under my tush to really take, starting a family more seriously. In fact, my dad's death was more of a wake-up call than my biological clock. I really thought now's the time to get going. And in fact, my dad passed away on August 27th. And 4 years later, on August 27th, my son was born. Which
wow.
I love. It's sort of like a little wink from him. Like, I see you, Karen. So,
oh, yeah.
And then I also started to rethink a lot of things because of my dad's passing. And that's why I wrote my new book. It's about how mortality awareness isn't morbid, it's motivating if you use it right, because it creates urgency, which sparks action. And you start getting around to living the life that you really want to live, and, being bolder and more authentic about how you're living your life. And I also looked at the top regrets of the dying, and sure enough, what's on there? I wish I hadn't worked so hard. And,
Yeah.
I loved what I was doing. So it was a little bit harder to see that I was working so hard, but I was definitely too much in beast mode. And that's when I realized that there's something else called best mode, which is better than beast mode, where you have balance. And that's a lot of what I started to think about. And that's what inspired my new book.
So good. I love that reframe because, yeah, when we think of death, we're thinking of grieving, of sadness, of just an ending to something. And you've sort of flipped the script on this and been like, no, this is actually a door opener. This is a beginning to a lot of things. And for you, it was the beginning of your motherhood journey in a way.
It definitely was. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So let's talk about this book for a minute. It's called Your To Die For Life. And in this book, you talk about people living near life experiences. So not near death experiences, near life experiences. What does that mean? How do people recognize if they're stuck in one?
well, I say that I didn't write the book because I had a near death experience, but I did write it because I had near life experiences. And what I mean by that, I made the term up, just like a made up sandwich. I like coming up with
You're good at that. You're good at that. Yeah.
things. So, what I mean by a near life experience is that too many of us are not fully in our lives. We're on our phones so much these days. I'm guilty of it too. I have to stop myself, and writing this book has helped me to be more accountable to stopping myself to doing that. But we're on our phone, we're like swiping, or we're out to dinner with our friends, and maybe our minds are elsewhere. We're like future projecting about some fear in the future, or kind of ruminating about something from our past, or we're saying someday too much. And we're putting off what we should be doing today for someday. And all of these things keep us from living fully in the present. And it's what I call near life experience. We're not in our lives, we're near our lives, we're life adjacent. And my book is about snapping people out of this, snapping people out of autopilot. That's how we can get stuck in these near life experiences. And then making more intentional choices about how to live our lives.
Yeah. That hits home so hard because we get stuck in these like day-to-day routines and bad habits of, doom scrolling or just whatever it is, even just the busyness and the chaos of the day-to-day life of being, a working mom or wearing all the hats that we're wearing. And we do kind of forget to be in the present. I mean, I'm totally guilty of that. What's like one tip that you've been able to share or, exercise in your own life that's helped you?
I have a lot in my book about this, but if I were to have to start with just mentioning one of the many, I would say that one of the things I did was I wrote my own eulogy.
Wow. Okay.
I gave my father's eulogy. And after that, I thought about, well, what do I want my life to be about? And I'm constantly updating my eulogy, by the way. But I wrote my eulogy. In my book, I help people to write eulogies. And if people think it's like too creepy crawly, I made it easy for them. But I have a fill in the blank template, like Mad Libs, where you
Love
fill
it.
it, you just
Yeah.
fill in, so it's much easier. And a lot of the blanks, I will tell you, are core values. Because a lot of living a life that you're proud of, a life that feels meaningful, is about embracing certain core values. And here's again, for busy people, too many of us, we feel like we have to follow our to-do lists, and that's about productivity. They have a fatal flaw. You could do everything on your to-do list and get to the end of your life and feel like you wasted your life, because to-do lists don't mention things like, I am present for the people I love, or I, listen attentively, or whatever it is, where when you're at the end of your life and somebody's giving your eulogy, they're not going to read your LinkedIn profile. They're not going to like print out your Google Calendar and go, oh, she never missed a dentist appointment. No,
Yeah.
they're telling stories about you. Oh, I remember the time that I was sick and she was so loving. She brought over soup. Or, oh, I remember the time that I was really upset by my divorce and she sat and she really listened to me, or she was patient, or she mentored me. All of these things have to do with a core value and then an action that you took. So I have people, after they write their eulogies, and even without writing their eulogies, you can still do this. Not just write a to-do list, but what I call a to-die list. And these are habits that you can do daily that will be things that will make your life meaningful. So at the end of your life, stories, and they usually have to do, well, they always have to do with a core value and then a habit. I am loving, and so I show up for the people I love. I am brave, and so I call that person and have that difficult challenging conversation. So you write, I am, and so I do statements, and those go up on your to-die list. So you write a to-do list each day and a to-die list, which fills in the parts of your life that are the meaningful parts of your life that would not be on a traditional to-do list.
Okay. I really love this. I love this so much because I'm a coach, and so I'm very action oriented. And so I'm a big believer in core values. I do this exercise a lot with clients, but I love the addition of, well, what does that translate to in what you're doing? Right? Not just like, oh, I'm a very empathetic person. Okay, but what action are you doing to really live that life? You know?
Exactly. And I believe, and so you could use your eulogy to brainstorm up what goes on your to-do list, but you could even do it without your eulogy. I have a prompt that I mentioned in the book where you write at the top of a blank page one of the following prompts. Who do I need to become to get everything I want in my life? Or if you're having a problem right now in your life, who do I need to become to stop fighting with my partner? Or who do I need to become to get closer with my child? Who do I need to become to, meet whatever goal it is, like write a novel or whatever would be like a legacy project that you want? And the answer is a core value. And then you write the I am, and so I do. These are what I call, well, I don't call it actually, it's called, but I call them in my book, identity-based statements. And because I'm a real change expert, it comes from a whole field of research on the power of identity. Identity is the puppet master of your habits. Frank Sinatra, he sang Doobie Doobie Doo, great song, singer, whatever. But in personal development, it's be do, be do, be do. Who you think you are will determine what you do. That's why if you walk around thinking, I am sloppy, you're going to do the habit of a sloppy person. If you think I'm organized or I am brave, you're going to do those habits. And there's studies about identity-based statements and how powerful they are. They did a study where they were trying to get people to show up at the polls and vote more. So they had two different groups. And one group, they gave like cute little like taglines and sayings and stuff like that to get them to show up to vote. And the other group, they had the people start to see themselves as voters, to identify as voters. And the people that they gave identity-based statements to wound up showing up to the polls like 3 times as much as the people that just got the cute little taglines. And it makes sense when you even think about people that vote. If somebody is like, oh, I'm a Democrat, I'm a Republican, if they really view themselves as political, then they will show up. And also getting to the gym. If you think of yourself as athletic, you're going to keep going that's why it's easier to keep going to the gym once you're going to the gym, because you see yourself as I am athletic, I am a healthy person. But once you've fallen off the wagon, you're like, oh God, I'm lazy. It's harder to get back going to the gym. So if you remind yourself of the core value that you want to be, I am disciplined, I am healthy, then you're more likely to do the habit. So you have to team it up. Core value plus habit. Write those down, put them on your to-do list, and you're more likely to do it.
Yeah, such good advice. Thank you. When we're stepping into a version of ourselves we haven't been yet, a lot of fear can creep in, a lot of doubt, right? Whether that's like fear of failure, fear of judgment, even fear of success. I thought this was like a BS concept, fear of success. I'm like, who would be afraid of that? But it's a real thing. And I'm sure you know this, right? So how do people get past that? Or how does the problem kind of get worse, like in that way? And then how do we get past it?
Okay, I'm going to tell you a story straight out of my own life.
Yes, tell me.
Okay, back up. One of my best-selling books is a book called How to Be Happy, Damn It, which I came up with back in the 1990s because I'm ancient and I was around.
The 90s was a great decade. Great decade.
Okay, well, I was around back then and writing my books, and I came up with my book, How to Be Happy, Damn It. Back in the 1990s, nobody had naughty words in book titles. Like now, everybody has like curse words and everything. But back in the 1990s, this was considered shocking. And I told my agent, I have this idea for a book. It's a self-help book, and it has the word, it's How to Be Happy, Damn It. And it has graphics and it has humor. And she just looked at me like I was nuts. And
you were ahead of your time, Karen. You were ahead.
But this story is about bravery. Okay. So It's really it's interesting. Back then, I believe in this book that I said to my agent, I love you very much, but I believe in this book and I'm going to go find an agent that also believes in this book. So I'm leaving you. Okay. And then that book came out, sold 250,000 copies, huge bestseller, spawned a bunch of other books from me, and then other books with curse words in the title. Was in an Eminem video where you see the musician Eminem reading the book, the camera pans him, PBS documentary. I mean, that book sold so many copies. And anyway, now cut to a couple of years ago, long after the 1990s, after my dad died. And I told my agent, I want to do a book about death. And I see the power of my father's death and how it's changed me. I'm starting to coach people with mortality awareness. And my agent says, Karen, you write happiness books. Nobody's going to want to buy a book about death from you. Nobody wants to see the word death or dying or anything like that on a cover. Forget about it. And I listened to her for a bunch of years in a row. And I kept popping into her email box. How about that book about death? Well, anyway, a couple of years ago, I called her up and I still really want to do that book about death. Karen, nobody, stay with the happiness books. Got off the phone with her. And I thought the following thought. This is exactly how it happened. I thought, oh God, I remember back in the 90s when I told my agent I wanted to be How to Be Happy, Damn It. And she didn't believe in it. That I went ahead and did it anyway. Well, I guess I was feistier back then. I guess I was braver back then. I guess I was bolder back then. I guess I'm just not that way anymore. This is my internal dialogue. And then I thought, wait a minute. I'm still feisty. I'm still bold. I'm still brave. I'm still innovative. I'm going to do this book because I reminded myself of my core values. That's the power of identity-based habits. I am those things. And as soon as I got myself excited about embracing those core values, called her up. I love you very much. I believe in this book. I'm going to go find another agent. And then we politely parted ways. And that's the power of embracing core values and reminding yourself of how you want to live your life to create a meaningful life.
Oh, I love that story so much. I love it. I always say, a lot of our listeners, very ambitious women. I myself, ambitious woman. I can tell you are as well. It's like never tell an ambitious woman she can't do something or she shouldn't do something because it will create such a fire under her ass to do it.
Yes.
In such a way, like even myself, when like that in that conversation you had internally in your head, even when I doubt myself in situations, I almost have to like smack myself across the face and be like, wake up, like this is not you. Right. And so it gives you this drive sometimes to do it backwards, forwards, sideways, half asleep, no matter what season you're in, because it's who you are.
And you know what happens when mortality awareness is embraced is it changes your fears from, oh, I'm afraid to do this, to I'm afraid to die with my music still inside me. I'm afraid not to I'm afraid to get to the end of my life and not have taken chances, had adventures, been my fullest self. I don't want those regrets. And so what I did was I took all the top regrets of the dying, I reverse engineered each of them, and I thought about the core values I need to embrace now to make sure I don't end up with those regrets. And I came up with a system that there are actually 7 core values that if you intentionally embrace them, you can avoid the top regrets of the dying. Do you want me to tell you what these 7 core
Yes, the
values are?
organizational nerd in me is like so excited for this. Yes, please tell us.
Now, by the way, I also want to say the first core value is A is for authentic. They go in alphabetical order, actually. And because A is authentic, you don't have to just embrace these 7 core values. Like if you have your own core values, I encourage you to figure out what those are. Like feisty is one of mine, and innovative, so they're not in the top 7, but these are sort of like the DIY. These are good, like a starter kit core values. Okay.
Okay.
And they all relate to the top regrets of the dying. So the first regret is A is for authentic, because some of the top regrets of the dying are, I wish I had expressed myself more openly. I wish I had lived more true to myself. A bunch of those in that category. So yes, A, authentic, embrace that. B is brave, because again, you have to get out of your comfort zone. You have to live boldly and bravely. So many of the things when I look back on in my life that have been the most meaningful and rewarding, it's because I was brave. C is curious. And I picked that one because I also believe that the reason why we're here on this planet is that we're here to learn lessons that help us to grow into our best possible selves. And you have to be curious when something goes wrong. What can I learn from this? How can I grow from this? Or if you're in conflict with somebody, is it me? What can I do to make this situation better? You really have to really look at things. You repeat what you don't repair. So you need to be curious so you can repair it. And plus, curiosity helps you to have awe in the world, to have wonder. And that brings so much happiness. D is for discerning. And we need D for discerning because a lot of us tell ourselves, oh, well, I didn't have time to do that. I'm too busy to do that. It's sort of like the adult equivalent of the dog ate my homework, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to be discerning about where your time, your attention, your love, your affection is going, and stop wasting it on what I call crap and clutter. So D,
Yes.
discerning. E is for empathic love. And I had to put empathic in front of love to keep my alphabetical order going. But I actually thought empathic love was even more right than just saying love, because if I just said loving, you might have thought it meant like romantic love. And empathic love applies to your dog, your strangers, your colleagues, it's every kind of relationship that you can have. And that is really the secret of a good relationship, is to, seek first to understand before you're understood, all of that, and compassionate listening and active listening and really being present and putting the effort for somebody. F is, and you might be surprised to hear this is a core value, but it really is. F is fun. And the reason why that's on there is, remember I talked about one of the top regrets of the dying is I wish I hadn't worked so hard. Well, the antidote to that is to make sure that you're prioritizing fun, that you're having fun in your life, because too many of us feel burnt out all the time. That's, again, fatal flaw of a to-do list. You have to really mindfully make sure that you're having fun in your life. A lot of the top regrets of the dying are, I wish I had let myself be happier. So let yourself be happier. And G is gratitude, to be grateful for what you have while you're on the way to, getting more of what you really want for your life, to appreciate the moment. And that helps, like, even the tough days feel better. So that's on there too. So those are the top core values that if you embrace these, you can live a more meaningful life and avoid the top regrets of the dying.
Wow. Oh my gosh. I feel like I needed this conversation today more than anyone. I love it so much. So I don't know if you do this, Karen. I pick a word every year to sort of embody and just really zoom in on. Do you do that ever?
I have in the past. I haven't done it recently. What's your word this year?
Do you want to hear my word this
I
year?
do.
Fun. Fun.
I love it. I love
Yeah,
you and I are on the same page here.
we are. Yeah, we're rocking similar glasses. I love it.
It's interesting. A bunch of years ago, by now, like 10 years ago, I gave a TED talk called Fun is a High Performance Fuel. And it was about the importance of play at work, but also in general. And because I'm a research nerd, there are all of these studies that fun actually is like, I say fun is like meditation on steroids, that it helps you to relax more than just meditation itself. And it
Yeah.
helps you think more clearly. Another study that they did, they had two different people and they gave one group they assigned them to watch like sad videos for like an hour. And the other group, they assigned watching fun videos for an hour. And then they gave them a bunch of like problem solving puzzles. And the people that watched the fun videos were better able to do the problem solving puzzles because it kind of loosens up your stressed out mind, the paralyzed thinking, and gets you to
Yeah.
think more clearly. So for many reasons, fun is important.
That
Keeps
makes sense.
you at your best.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Yeah. Personally, I was feeling like this part of my identity was missing for a while. Like, I just have been wrapped up in the chaos of raising kids and working and doing all the things. And I was like, I used to be fun. What happened?
I get that so much. I get it. And you know what? It's interesting because yours was I used to be, and mine was I used to be feisty. And
Ooh, okay.
so that's actually a new thought for me and to even say it out loud to your listeners, what are you telling yourself? I used
Yeah.
to be. I
Yeah.
used
I still am, damn it.
well, damn it is right, right?
I still am fun. All right. All right, Karen, we're going to head over to our lightning round now. This is the part of our show where we just like to ask you fun, random, personal questions. Are you ready?
I think so.
Okay, good. I'm ready. All right, so I'm curious, what's your go-to get it done motivating song?
Oh my gosh. Um, uh, God. I could ask Alexa, I can ask her to play it. But I think I won't, wait, what's the song? I won't back down or something. Is it a Tom Petty one?
Oh,
Alexa,
yes, yes, yes.
play I Won't Back Down. Is that what it's called? What's it called? I Won't Back Down on Amazon. Is that what it is? Yeah, this is it. Can you hear him? Alexa, raise
Ooh.
volume.
Well,
Do you
we
hear
will
it?
link it in our show notes. So in case you can't hear it, you
Stop.
know what Karen's talking about. Yes, that's a good one. That's a good one. I like it. Yeah. Are you more of an introvert or extrovert?
I'm actually an introvert. That's how I
Yeah.
get work done because I'm okay with being by myself. I'm okay with reading. I'm okay with writing. Okay with going on long walks by myself, all of that. And I prefer more one-on-one conversations than like loud parties and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. What if you could only eat one food for the rest of your life? What would it be? Calories don't count.
Um, what would it be? Calories don't count. Geez, you know what? I've trained myself to like healthy foods. I hate to tell you, but like things like mangoes are coming to mind or avocados. I love,
Yeah.
at this point, I've trained myself to crave healthy foods. I'm not even thinking of anything really, naughty at this point.
I mean, you're literally living the things you tell people to do, right? I am a healthy person. My favorite food is mango and avocado. That's it. Done. Living proof right here. Okay. What if you could have any superpower? What would it be?
Um, it would be to make people that are feeling sad, see clarity and a path towards hope and change.
But Karen, you're already doing that.
Oh, okay.
You already have this superpower. What if you could have another one?
Another one? Oh gosh. It would be to travel to different countries without having to go through airports.
Yeah. No TSA checks.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Love it. Last question. What's something most people don't know about you?
Okay. Well, this one's that I was a child ventriloquist. I used to do ventriloquism as a kid. I learned because I remember I was in line in school for something and I wanted to talk to my friends and I didn't want to get into trouble. So I learned how to talk without moving my lips so I could talk to my friends in line. And then I got really good at it. And then I asked my parents to get me a ventriloquist doll. And then I wrote little comedy routines and used to perform at talent shows and won awards. Would you like to hear my jokes? I still remember one of my jokes from my award-winning first place as a ventriloquist. It was so silly. I had my ventriloquist doll, who I named Herman after my father's dead father, actually, as an homage to him.
Okay.
And I said, and Herman said to me, Karen, do you think it's wrong to be punished for something that you didn't do? And I said, yeah, you shouldn't be punished for something you didn't do. And he said, well, my teacher punished me for not doing my homework. And that was my joke. It was like a bad mom joke, actually. You know, I got punished for not doing my homework.
I feel like that's so cute. And if you're a kid and you're with a with a doll and you're doing it, all's going to, yes, that is going to be, you're going to get a laugh out of the crowd for sure. I mean, you got an award for it. So clearly.
Yeah, whatever. So yeah, I was a child ventriloquist and did talent shows.
That is a really fun fact. Thank you for sharing. Yeah. All right, Karen, I know we could chat for longer. I know I could. I don't know about you, but we got to wrap up this show. So can you tell our listeners where they can find you, where they can find all your books, especially the latest one?
Okay, well, my new book is called You're to Die for Life, and I created a website just for it called you'retodieforlife.com, and I have freebies on there. I have a quiz to find out what your vitality age is, and that's about how much life force you have in you. And then I also have some other freebies on there. But my main website is notsalmon.com because my last name is Salmansohn. Everybody mangles it. Everybody's going Salmansohn. And so I'm always going not salmon. So my main website is notsalmon.com. My Instagram, notsalmon. My Substack is substack.com/notsalmon. Facebook, you get the idea. So that's the other way to find me is through notsalmon.
Yeah, it's so catchy because I was telling my mom that we were having this interview and how I've read your books. And I was like, yeah, not salmon. That's how you find her.
But if I had to depend on people spelling my last name, I'd have like 3 people finding me. So non-salmon makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, no, it's super catchy. I love it. Well, Karen, thank you. It has been such an honor, such a pleasure. Really appreciate you being here.
Oh, it was fun. You asked really good questions. Now I'm going to have to go listen to that song after we get off. I'm going to ask Alexa.
Well, me too. It's playing in the back of my mind right now. That's a wrap for this episode of the Mama Work It podcast. I hope you feel empowered, inspired, and ready to take your next step. If this episode spoke to you, share it with another amazing mama, and don't forget to subscribe and leave a review. It helps us show up wherever you get your podcasts. Be sure to head over to mamaworkit.com for free resources, coaching support, and new ways to momage your days as a busy mom. Until next time, keep on working it, mama.